It
Yeah.
wouldn't let me turn it on at first.
Okay, so, in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded. And, we're trying to bring the owl into place.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it says,
It says owl.
yeah, oh, no,
It just
It was
moved.
the owl.
okay. The recording of the meeting will be available on the Lunenburg Public Access Channel within 24 hours. Participants may use Zoom to speak. Public participation is encouraged, and public comments may be registered on any of the regular agenda topics.
You're muted now.
All right.
Can you hear us
Now
now?
you're back. Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason the owl audio is not working, and so
Oh, yeah, you
Oh,
are.
it's tracking now.
We can see you.
oh, it is.
Yeah, now it
Okay.
is
It's
working.
tracking now, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay.
You're missing
so,
a lot.
So there's no public comment because there's no members of the public here, none online. I did not get the meeting minutes yesterday or whenever you send them out. I did get them then, on your second pass through. And I have looked at them. They look great to me, except for one thing. In the formatting, you have new business, and then you have a 1 and a parentheses, and you just have the letter A. I think what I would do, William, is to just get rid of the new business and call it current business, which is what it was on the agenda. And then everything else looks good. Everything is
Okay.
is up to snuff. And I'm gonna move. Have you looked at those? Here, look at that real quickly.
Yeah.
I'll move those move for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and then let Nathan take a quick look.
Yeah,
and we'll
no
any
worries.
further discussion, and then we'll proceed to approve those. Richard's on his way to see his son, and hence he's not available. Okay, so all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes as presented, subject to that one little change on formatting, say aye.
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 Okay. Let's move into, so those meeting minutes are approved. Let's go into the agenda under current business. The Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee had a very short meeting last week because the chair of the committee was not available. So we didn't really discuss a whole lot. There was some discussion about the Brooks House. And as that conversation went, we've not done anything. The Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee has not done anything with the Brooks House. And the decision was made by the acting chair, David Blatt, that it wouldn't do anything at last week's meeting. Now, Michael Ray just sent out, he's the chair of the committee. Michael Ray just sent out a committee sent out an agenda for the next meeting, which is 17 March. That's Monday at 5:30. And the Brooks House is back on the agenda. So we'll see what happens. So as it stands right now, nothing has been developed for the warrant that was supposed to be presented at the annual town meeting in May. So as it stands right now, there hasn't been any work on the Brooks House. With regards to the municipal building itself, we didn't do a whole lot of substantial work during last week's meeting. Once again, because the chair was not present. but I think that, you know, we still have a couple of big issues. One is, what will the PowerPoint presentation look like that's presented at annual town meeting? And how much is this gonna cost the taxpayers? So there was some discussion about how to develop the PowerPoint presentation, but no decisions were reached. The determination of applicability and, the certificate of applicability on, certificate to alter, I've made a mistake when I wrote that agenda item. It's a certificate to alter on opengov.com. I haven't checked, but I don't think that's been completely finalized by the Logan McConnell yet. Historical Commission, Architecture Preservation District Commission merger update. And this is actually the one reason why I did not cancel tonight's meeting, because there really isn't much for us to be substantial to discuss. The town manager and I had been swapping emails back and forth about that warrant, you know, getting the merger done at the annual town meeting in May. And so she finally talked to Adam Costa. I think I had mentioned at our meeting in February that Adam was kind of missing in action. He hadn't responded to my emails, hadn't responded to Carter's, and he hadn't been responding to the new town manager. But they did finally chat. And last Friday, I had a long conversation with the town manager. And what she indicated was she really doesn't want to put this on the in the warrant booklet for the annual town meeting. She says, after my conversation with Adam, I felt like it was more complicated than what was going to be presented, and I don't want to do this twice. She says, and I would really like for you to speak with Adam and, you know, proceed with your plan, but have you do that directly with him. And I says, I'm perfectly okay with that. I says, and that was one of the things that we were trying to get done, you know, way back in the fall when we first met with Adam. I says, but that kind of got turned off by Carter. And she goes, I understand that. She says, but I really feel like we won't have enough time to produce a good warrant article for consideration at the annual town meeting. And I don't want to do anything at this point in time contrary to what our new town manager is suggesting. So, you know, we had discussed having the powers of the Architectural Preservation District be a part of this warrant, you know, a merger and then expand the APD to townwide, you know, the provisions in the Architectural Preservation District bylaw. So maybe we can still get that done. But I wanted to let you know that as it stands right now, that warrant for merging the Historic Commission and APDC is not moving forward based on the town manager's opinion that we should wait, do something more comprehensive and do it in conjunction with Adam. So I says, I have no problem working with Adam. I says, that was one of the issues that we raised back in the fall. Now, I says, but you're going to tell him that we want to have this discussion. And she says, yes, I will. I will send him an email ASAP that tells Adam that we're not going to proceed with the warrant and for the ATM in May, but he was to work with you to produce something that would then be presented at special town meeting in November. So is there any real heartburn over that? I mean, once again, this isn't what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to at least get the two organizations merged. But I don't see that as happening. I think the town manager is somewhat overwhelmed with her new position. You know, a lot of issues on her plate right now, and I don't think she wants to, you know, to do something that's not going to get approved in May. And I think she realizes that we did have a breakdown in communication between town council and our objective, and hopefully she's put that on track. So, William, any comments?
No, I mean, like you said, you kind of want to go in line if she feels like there's more meat that needs to be done. And you kind of mentioned, I mean, do we try and push the expansion? That
Yeah,
way it helps our package for next. That way we can also, when we do merge, say next year, it's not having to expand the district to meet the historical commission's already area of our responsibility. Ours will already be expanded.
That is one of my plans, is to say, all right, since we've had a delay, now we're gonna do it all at once, we'll try and get our powers expanded town-wide. As well as merging the two commissions. Now, that will probably, and Jennifer told me, she goes, I think that will be it'll take a big push to get that done. I says, I understand that. I says, but that's kind of what we wanted to have happen. So I think we could use that time now with Adam to say, let's revise, the Historic Commission's work. And the APD work such that there's one group of people doing this, but the regulations that have been on the table for the APD will then apply town-wide. So I will pursue that with Adam. In fact, one of the things that I might try and get done is to have Adam join us at our next meeting via Zoom. And so what do you think of that? Have him become a part of our discussion.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and since he kind of owes us one, I'm hoping that that he'll be agreeable to that. And then of course, every hour that he spends, he bills the town, and I'll make sure that Jennifer knows that we're going to ask him to join us by Zoom. Now, it may turn out that we have to have a meeting sometime different than 7:30. So I will work on his schedule. I'm going to say I want to have it at 7:30, but if he goes, oh no, I don't work nights, we'll see when he does work. So, so that's the situation, not what we'd hoped for, Now, fortunately, we're not really busy reviewing lots of projects, with, and so I think that we can, I think, have a little bit of a period of time to think about how to do this the best way possible. All right. Any other questions about the merger? Any other comments about the merger?
None for me.
Okay. All right. Speaking of Zoom, we're actually employing the AI feature that's now a part of Zoom. And there you are. Let me see if we can get both. Get you.
Yeah, it's
get
not,
both
it's
of
not moving around.
No,
Oh, maybe
it's
now
not.
it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, all right, well, that's fine.
Yeah. So I'm anxious to see what the transcript looks like. Now, I've seen the planning board's transcripts, and if what they produce was what Zoom is producing as a result of them employing AI, it's not very good. It's I mean, like, you can't. You need a lot of time to read the transcript. It's really kind of a drag, but we'll see. But now here's the other point. The law that allows for us to have, you, William, at home during this meeting and us down here, that law expires 31st of March. And the latest information from the town manager is nothing. It was either town manager or from Ellen Griffin, is that there's bills being proposed, but no action has been taken. And, so we may not be able to use Zoom to have members remotely signed in.
So you're talking about state law?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said, when is it expired?
31st of March, end of the month. So, yeah, I know, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think I propose civil disobedience with moving on Zoom.
Not me, because I'm here to tell you.
We'll be like the Greensboro boys.
Yeah, not me, because I'll tell you what, the open meeting law is not something to be trifled with. I mean, poor Richard.
Now,
What?
Does that only apply to board members, or would that still be an option for the community?
I think we will continue to use Zoom to allow the community members to want to sign in, because I think that's a good way of engaging people. And it's a good way of recording this. You know, if they say we can't use Zoom to do that, then someone from the staff has to come over here and videotape us. And then put that, you know, then load that to the
Yeah,
town's
I
YouTube
don't think
webpage.
it's about not being, I suspect it's not so much about not being able to use Zoom.
Yeah.
It's more about the physical presence
Yeah.
of the members more.
Right.
But I mean, it's still, I think it's dumb, but yeah.
It is. I mean, I think that Zoom is really a fantastic tool, and why the and I think that you know, this has been extended numerous times since it was first employed during COVID. I mean, we're, you know, almost 3 years past the peak period of COVID, and they're still kind of, you know, dealing with this on a temporary basis. Now, it's my understanding from the email that I saw is that there's actually been legislation introduced that will not just extend it, but make it, you know, it'll codify it as something that's permanent, that the towns can use Zoom to conduct business like this. But just FYI, well, you might have to be here in person next week. And I know you have good reasons for being home, you know, so.
Oh yeah,
You
she's
know,
she's sitting right here coloring.
I knew that was the case. I knew that was the case, which
No,
is
you're not in
fun.
trouble.
You know, this is a way to have people, you know, allowed to be engaged. All
Oh
right,
yeah.
so let's talk about what I do know about. Any questions about that? Okay, so let's talk about town hall and Ritter projects. I wish Richard could hear this. Richard sent me a text and said, hey, there's a weather vane in the attic of town hall. And that needs to be installed as part of the roof repair project that is underway. And he says,
Oh, the one that's missing is in the attic?
yeah, it's been replaced. The Historic Commission paid to have a new weather vane
Oh, cool.
built. Unfortunately, I talked to Chris Ruth about this yesterday, and unfortunately, Chris told me that they can't install it because there is some structural damage to the you know, the top of the
Yeah.
town hall
Okay.
that has to be repaired, and it is not in the current contract because it was too expensive to do. You know, they had to kind of whittle back that contract to get it to the point where it could be awarded for what funding was available. So he is aware of it. He said that you know, that he'll try and get it up there. And of course, one of the big issues is that if the vote to if there's a vote to approve what's being proposed for the consolidation of town activities in the Ritter and then the repair of town hall, it would be part of that. But that's at least a 1.5 to 2 years down the road. So Chris might have to do something on a temporary, or not on a temporary basis, but on a different contract than what's currently underway. They had a problem with getting to the first chimney on the roof is done.
Mhm.
And Richards looked at it, and I think that he was okay with, he wasn't initially, but I think he's okay with what he saw. The second chimney on the side of the building, close to where Pixelated Technology is now located, it used to be a law office, Gilman Law Office. That got delayed because the building hadn't, the closing on the building between Gilman Law and Pixelated hasn't taken place. Gilman Law still owns the building. That building sale closing was delayed because the town emergency access ramp or egress ramp is on that property. So the town council had to develop an easement. That easement's been worked. And then when Gilman found out that the contractor was going to did put scaffolding up on it, he brought that work to a close and said, not until I have my easement, because I don't want to be liable for anyone getting hurt. I think that I know that has now been approved. The easement has now been approved. And the contractor resumed work on Monday. So they're back at repairing the chimney. And then the plan is the contractor who has that work is the same contractor who has the roof repairs and the exterior repairs on Ritter. And Chris told me yesterday that when that crew's done with the chimney, they'll come over here and start working on the Ritter. So we'll see some it's two different contractors, two different contracts, but the same contractor. So that work will take place.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I mean, that chimney's been in need of some work for a long time.
Yes, it has.
Great to see it's gotten done.
Absolutely. Let me look at Richard's email to see if he sent this to all of you. If he did, I won't read it to you, or I won't summarize.
Yeah, I saw the scaffolding going up, but the part of it's on that lean-to on the side. I was wondering how nice that was gonna hold up.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so, this is the note that this is his update on 763. And it looks like he just sent it to me. He says, 763 Mass Avenue is going to be developed as a two-family home. The townhomes are going to be developed in front of the historic home. The owner has been and continues to be in violation of the demo delay law since its inception. The building inspector, Brian Gingras, says it's moot because the owner is going to save the property.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is us. All right, and then he says, so that's 763. That's good news. And then he goes on to give us an update on the historic survey that's being done for the Historic Commission. He says, phase one's done. The preliminary list of homes has been mostly worked out. The research is beginning. The goal is to survey 85 properties and sites like Marshall Park, which will make many of them eligible to be nominated for the National Register of Historic Places. There are homes in the APD whose forms have to be updated, and others that haven't been researched and documented. So that's good news. You know, I think that the Historic Commission is doing good work, and most of that's being driven by Richard. You know, he took the guy who's doing this project for them. He's actually from Vermont. He came in. Richard spent a couple of days with him, and that work, the townwide survey is now done, and now they're going to start doing the details to get data that would allow for the nomination into the National Register.
Super.
So, yeah, that's all good stuff. Historic Commission's been pretty busy. All righty, so that's it from Richard, and then the only other item that we have is like any news on 50 Main Street.
I went into, sorry, I usually think about this right before our meeting, so I went in there today, moving the ball forward, very slowly, but moving forward. I went there and I got David Duvall's information from one of the employees there, and I emailed David Duvall, who's one of the
Owners of the condo association.
Yeah, and so the next step will be to meet with him.
Okay.
But it's moving forward slowly, but yeah.
Good. All right. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. The only other thing that I have, just as kind of a general comment, I had one of the reasons why I was talking to Chris so much yesterday. I had him give me a tour of Brooks House, and I was really kind of pleased. I mean, that place is in not that bad a condition. And structurally, I didn't see anything that had me worried, other than the fire escape that had been built, and of course, you know the. That's all new stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah, like the big Jenga, I know, right? Sorry. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and of course the one really bad thing is, for you know, like first impressions, the stairs that go into the front door, they've fallen off. I mean, like the joist clips have given way, and you know, they need to be fixed. But once you get inside the building, you know, it has like the first thing I like to look at when I go in old buildings is the basement. It's relatively dry, you know, it has some massive stone pieces. There is one portion close to where there was an addition added. I need to find out a little more about when the addition was added. The addition is not attractive at all, but the house itself it's very doable. This is a very doable project.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, but the longer we go, nothing happening
It's bad.
it's an invitation.
So they're gonna look at this at the next meeting and hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, this is not rocket science.
It isn't.
So, I mean, I don't mean to, you know, you're always working for this board in a way that I am not, but do you think, you know, maybe, having a conversation with a new town manager just to like,
I did have conversations
okay,
with them.
nudge the process on this? Like,
I did.
I mean, all she's gotta do is ask Brian to like,
Yeah,
put it
I
in
did.
motion and whatever.
No, you know, I didn't watch last night's select board meeting. That meeting went, by the way, 5 hours.
Oh,
That's because they were doing the school budget, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
part
my
of it?
son was, it was a joint meeting initially with the school committee. He was there for 3 hours. And then he left. And then they finished their regular select board business 2 hours later. Chris was telling me that Jen told him that she did not get home until after midnight on Tuesday night. You know, that's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
It really isn't. In fact, one of the things that I've talked with my son about was the town needs to have better control over their meetings, because no volunteer is gonna wanna join in a 5-hour meeting. Like the planning board where I was reading the transcript that had been produced by Zoom AI. That was a 5-hour meeting, you know? Like, I just don't know how you can expect to recruit volunteers to sit around and talk for 5 hours like that. It's not manageable.
Maybe we need to deploy the town moderator to all these meetings.
You know what they need to do?
Mm.
When I used to testify before the city of Dayton, they had a red light, you know, it was a red, they had a green, yellow, and red.
Yeah,
And when you got up there, it was like, you got 5 minutes to make your presentation, unless it's something that you had prearranged
yeah,
with us to talk about.
yeah.
You know, and so the way you got 5 minutes, so the first thing was the green light would run for 4 minutes, okay? And then the yellow light would come on at the 4-minute mark, and when the red light went on at the 5-minute mark, the clerk would say, "Thank you very much, Mr. Scullenbrini, for your comments. Please sit down."
Good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what needs to happen. I'm a big
It's
proponent.
like the pitch clock, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's like the pitch clock. It really has helped baseball. All right, that's all I got. I think Brooks, I will keep you guys posted. I'm anxious to see what comes out of our conversation on Monday night, and I'll send you an email. You know, I was gonna send you an email on what was gonna happen at the last meeting, but nothing happened at the last meeting. So, anything else for us? Because we're not having an hour meeting tonight. We're having a half-hour meeting.
Now, we got our semaphore in full service here.
Yeah. All right, guys, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we
Aye.
are adjourned at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much, Wim. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. For the minutes, you want me to put the normal Thursday time for now, and we'll adjust.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the next meeting would be, that's the 10th of April. And then, if you just make that one little change where you change out that one place where you have the 1 and then the A, just
Yep.
rid of that, make the other thing current business. So, and then, so those meetings are approved subject to that change. And then if you send those off to Ellen, that would be great. That
Will
answer
do.
All righty.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay.
How you doing?
All right. Bye.